AI.
We are. We're looking at the landmark and, frankly, pretty surprising settlement between Warner Music Group, or WMG, and the AI music platform Suno.
Yeah, and this is so much more than just a lawsuit ending.
Oh, absolutely. This is the moment the music industry, or at least a big piece of it, stopped fighting AI and started, licensing it. It sets a completely new precedent.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack the terms of this deal. We need to figure out, is WMG's claim that this is a victory for the creative community, does that actually hold up?
And what does this all mean for you, whether you're an artist or just a user of these tools?
Right. So to set the stage, WMG is the first of the big three major labels to officially partner up with Suno.
And this is after WMG, Universal, and Sony all launched these huge infringement lawsuits against them. So for WMG to break ranks and decide to collaborate, well, it's a signal that the game has completely changed.
So let's rewind a bit. Let's go back to the start of this fight, because not that long ago, the mood was purely hostile. What was the core accusation?
The accusation was pretty simple, really.
No.
It was intellectual property infringement, clear cut.
Okay.
The labels claimed that Suno and its rival UDIO had ripped millions of copyrighted songs without permission, to train their models. That was the whole legal battle right there.
And now we've seen this incredibly fast reversal. It's been less of a battle and more like a wave of settlements.
A huge wave. I mean, the litigation started off strong, but I think the labels saw the writing on the wall, that fighting the tech might not be as smart as, getting in on it.
So who went first?
We saw UMG settle with UDIO first, then WMG made its own deal with UDIO just last week, and now this one, the WMG Suno deal, which is the biggest one yet, just because of Suno's profile.
But, and this is so important for anyone tracking the big picture, this war is only really over for WMG.
That is the critical piece of nuance here. WMG has made its peace, but UMG and Sony, they're still actively suing Suno.
And Sony is still suing both of them. Right, Suno and UDIO.
Still suing both.
Yeah.
Sony is, as always, the most aggressive on copyright. So you have WMG basically stepping out of the trenches to build this new commercial model while the others are still fighting.
Okay, let's talk about the core of this agreement, because this is where it gets really weird. WMG and Suno announced a partnership, but our sources are confirming WMG is actually compensating Suno.
Right.
The plaintiff is paying the defendant. The money's flowing in the wrong direction, or what we thought was the wrong direction.
This is the absolute biggest thing we have to unpack. If WMG is paying Suno, the company they just sued for infringement, that suggests a few things.
Like what?
Well, first, it suggests Suno had some serious leverage. Maybe better tech, maybe a legal case WMG just didn't want to test in court.
Okay.
And second, it totally flips the value proposition. WMG isn't just getting a fine for past damages. They're paying for future access to Suno's platform and to its users.
So it's not a victory in the traditional sense. It's more like they realized, okay, we need this technology more than we need to punish them.
Exactly. They're paying for a seat at the table.
It's an investment.
It's an investment in control. They're moving from fighting it to building a framework where licensed data is the most valuable thing you can own. It's about future revenue.
Okay, so if WMG had to pay, let's look at the other side of this. Their CEO, Robert Kinkle, is framing this as a huge victory. Where's the win for WMG and its artists?
The victory he's claiming is all about the control they got. WMG's stated goal is, and I'm quoting here, to shape models that expand revenue and deliver new fan experiences.
So it's about monetization.
It's all about monetizing the AI boom.
Yeah.
And to do that, they secured these pro-artist principles that now govern how Suno has to operate.
And these principles are essentially the new rule book for licensed music AI.
They're the pillars. First, a commitment to licensed models only. Second, reflecting the value of music everywhere. And the third one, this is the big one.
Let me guess, the opt-in.
The opt-in. An explicit opt-in for artists and songwriters for the use of their name, image, likeness, voice, all of it, in any new AI songs.
Okay, let's pause on that. An opt-in system. That's a massive change from the current situation where you can just type in any artist's name.
It's huge.
But how does that actually work? I mean, is WMG now going to be policing every single prompt on Suno? That sounds complex.
It's incredibly complex, and the implementation is everything. For a huge WMG artist, this is a massive win. It gives them a veto over their own digital twin.
Sure.
But for, say, a session musician or a songwriter whose style is part of the training data but isn't as famous, the enforcement gets a lot fuzzier.
And what about the tech itself, the models that were built on unlicensed music are being phased out. What does that mean for a user?
It means that foundational dataset, the one Suno's AI was built on, is now basically obsolete, too legally risky.
So they're starting fresh.
They're launching new, more advanced and licensed models, which is just the simple way of saying models trained on WMG's clean, curated, and fully licensed catalog.
Which brings us to where the control really kicks in for the user, the content flood.
Yeah.
Spotify is just drowning in AI tracks right now.
Yeah.
How does this deal stop that?
This is maybe the most significant change from the whole deal. WMG is essentially putting a gatekeeper on the exit.
How?
They've dictated that only Suno's paid subscribers can download their creations to use off-platform.
So if I'm on the free tier, my music is stuck inside Suno.
It stays in their walled garden. You can't take it to Spotify or Apple Music to monetize it.
And even the paid users. There's a catch there too, right?
Oh, yeah. They aren't totally free either. Paid users will have download caps. If they want to produce a lot of music, they're going to have to pay more for more downloads. It's a masterful mechanism.
So what's the goal? Is it about protecting streaming services from being spammed? Or is it about creating a new revenue stream for Suno that WMG gets a cut of?
It's both. And it's brilliant. It makes sure that any AI track that actually enters the real ecosystem comes from someone who's financially invested.
It's a quality filter.
A quality filter and a monetization channel, all in one. It makes the output itself more valuable by making it more scarce, or at least more costly to produce at scale.
Okay, let's flip this around and look at it from Suno's side. They're facing these massive lawsuits, but they come out of this looking pretty strong, bullish even.
Yeah, Suno's CEO, Mikey Schulman, has a completely different take. He calls this a partnership that unlocks a bigger, richer Suno experience.
So he sees it as an upgrade, not a restriction.
He sees it as accelerating their mission. He's talking about making music more valuable to billions of people. For him, getting licensed data from the majors enhances their product.
And he's hinting at new features, new ways to collaborate with Crow artists.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. For Suno, this deal gives them legitimacy. It gives them access to incredible, high-quality, legally safe training data. It solves their single biggest problem.
And this confidence, I mean, it has to be tied to their financial situation. They weren't exactly fighting this from a position of weakness.
No, not at all. Just over a week before this deal was announced, Suno closed a massive funding round.
How much?
A huge $250 million. That funding round valued the company at, get this, $2.45 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, with that kind of money, you have immense negotiating leverage, even when you're up against the biggest copyright holders in the world.
And who's backing them? Any big names?
Oh, the investor list tells you everything. You've got Menlo Ventures, but the really interesting one is InVentures.
NVIDIA's venture arm.
NVIDIA's VC arm. A direct nod to the raw computing power this all relies on. And they also got money from Hallwood Media, which was founded by Neil Jacobson.
The former president of Geffen Records.
Exactly. When a guy that deep inside the traditional music industry is betting big on Suno, you know which way the wind is blowing.
And as part of this whole deal, Suno is actually acquiring something from WMG, right?
They are. They're acquiring Songkick.
The concert discovery platform.
Yep. The financials are secret, but the strategy is pretty clear. Suno isn't just a music generator anymore. They're moving into the whole artist-fan ecosystem.
So I can generate a song, and then Suno can help me find a concert for a similar artist.
That's the idea. It makes them a full-stack music tech company, not just a cool tool. It really cements this as a deep business partnership.
So if WMG is the first to make a deal like this, are they speaking for the whole industry? I mean, is this the moment the majors decided it's better to profit from this than to fight it?
That's the big question, isn't it? Is this the blueprint now? It certainly looks like the major label strategy has shifted from defense to monetization.
From lawsuits to licensing.
Right. They've accepted the tech is here to stay, and now their goal is to own the data that powers it. But the fact that UMG and Sony are still fighting, that tells you they might think they can get an even better deal or more control.
But the concern I keep hearing is, what does this mean for the independent artist, the creator who isn't signed to one of the big three?
And that is the indie dilemma. It's the most critical side effect of this deal. The second WMG forces Suno to move to a licensed model, they create a huge barrier to entry.
How so?
Well, if the best, newest Suno models are only trained on data from WMG and other majors who sign on, Where does that leave the indie artist, the one who doesn't want to, team up with the big monopoly corporates, as they say?
They get locked out. Their sounds and styles aren't part of the training data for the next generation of tools.
Exactly. The fear is that if WMG's copyrighted data becomes the only legally safe data to use, then independent music, which drives so much innovation, gets a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, they're either ignored by the AI or they have to get into these really complex licensing deals themselves.
Correct. WMG has created a fantastic solution for their artists, but in doing so, they might have made the problem much, much worse for everyone else.
And WMG's principles, like the opt-in,
Yeah.
that doesn't protect an indie artist, right?
Not at all. WMG only speaks for WMG artists. An independent artist is still protected by copyright, of course, but the whole ecosystem is shifting. The new, powerful models are going to be the licensed ones.
So the indie artist might have the legal high ground, but they lose all the cultural and technological visibility.
Right. They're stuck playing whack-a-mole against models trained on the public internet, while the majors are operating inside this new, protected, monetized fortress.
It sounds like WMG's victory is built on creating a moat filled with licensed data, and all the indie creators are left on the outside.
That's the strategic outcome. The game is now about who controls the best, cleanest data, and the majors just fired the first shot to prove they intend to be the ones in control.
So what does this all mean for you? The key takeaway from this whole WMG Suno deal is that the Wild West era of AI music, it's over.
It is. The age of licensing and control has begun. This shift makes licensed data the new barrier to entry, and at the same time, it puts these huge new restrictions on what you can actually do with the music you create.
Yeah, that ability to just fire up a free AI tool, make a song, and throw it on Spotify, that is coming to an end very, very quickly.
And this brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. WMG's pro-artist principles are built around that mandatory opt-in system, a strong protection. But if that's the gold standard, what systems will be built to protect the truly independent creators, the ones who don't have WMG's lawyers and money behind them? The structure is there for the few,